Welcome back to Force Education. This is Zed. Today, we're going to be talking about Camber Energy, going with the ticker CEI. In this video, we're going to go towards additional due diligence, technical analysis, and what I think about this one. So without further ado, let's jump right into this one. This is not the first time we talked about Camber Energy. My last video is in the description below, but in case you never heard about them, Camber Energy is a growth-oriented organization that is leveraging the relationship and expertise of its professionals to build a diversified energy and power solutions company to help service the needs of energy users across North America. And basically, one of their strategies as well is to expand their existing assets through different acquisitions of other companies, and from there go on and utilize into a net carbon or net zero carbon emissions in general. So that is one of their current ambitions, as you get to see, for instance, by securing the exclusive IP license for patented carbon capture systems, and additional equity investments in Viking Energy, and acquiring majority interest in Simpson Maxwell Limited. Now, I covered that as well in my last video, but right now we want to talk about the short sell rule. So as you know, the stock has dropped almost to 122 at some point today. It did recover nicely, or at least for the major part, and it kind of filled that gap in the candle here. Just in this recent history, I mean, it did kind of already had all filled spaces from previous February earlier this year. But what we're talking about is the short sell rule. And since we dropped more than 10% at the lowest point of today and currently sitting at around 8.6, the short sell rule is in effect. So the short sell rule here was implemented in 2010. The SEC adopted an alternative uptick rule which prohibits short selling when a stock has dropped more than 10% or more. So under the short sell rule, shorts could only be placed at a price above the most recent trade. For instance, it's an uptick in the share price, with only limited exceptions. The rule forbade trading shorts on a downtick in a share price. The rule was also known as the uptick rule or the plus tick rule and the tick test rule. Now, the SEC authorized, the Security Exchange Commission, the SEA, authorized the SEC to regulate the short sell of securities. Now, in 2010, they adopted an alternative uptick rule, which is triggered when the price of security has been dropped by more than 10% or more from the previous day of the close. Now, when the rule is in effect, the short selling is permitted if the price is above the current best bid. The alternative uptick rule generally applies to all securities and stays in effect for the rest of the day until the following trading session, or at the end of the following trading session, so at the end of the day of the next following session. And so this will ease down any effects of the short selling that might be happening today and tomorrow. And it could be a reason why the stock still jumped backwards as well. Now, before moving on forward, if you would like to see more contents like this, make sure to click the subscribe button on the bottom right corner and leave notifications on. It would help my channel a lot. A lot of you amazing folks watch my videos but never click that subscribe button, so please do. Also, don't forget to drop a like if you actually enjoyed this video so far, and you can join our Discord totally free. Trust me, we're not trying to sell you on getting rich schemes. I mean, if we did, we probably wouldn't be actually doing well in the market. Now, in terms of investing general from institutions, it's been a bit quiet for September, so we don't have anything new there. Insiders as well have been quiet. But if you were to take a look into Google Trends, this one has peaked in terms of interest in the Google search terms. You're finding that the majority or the peak of interest relatively was the highest around September 10th. And then if we were to take a look into, let's say, a 7-day perspective, we're seeing that September 10th also had a pre-peak on September 7th. So go September 7th, September 10th, and the interest is still strong because today we still had 70% interest relative to September 10th at around, I would say 9 a.m. in the morning, around September 13th, and pre-morning it was all the way around 60-65. So that just means there is currently a lot of interest for the stock and people are searching it up. And people haven't just given up on this one yet. So that's always bullish. On the other side as well, from what we're seeing is on Twitter and other platforms, there's a lot of retail interest, and some people who are quote-unquote financial gurus are trying to push into this one. So be careful if it's pump and dump, but there is a lot of people on there on retail really trying to hit the drums with this one. Now, in terms of the short shares availability, currently there are 1 million shares available as updated with 21 minutes ago. And those 1 million shares doesn't mean that that is the total number of shorts sold stocks. These are the ones borrowed and returned. And another part, the short borrow fee rate is currently 10.47, so it's very low relative to some other stocks, but still significant. Also, at any given point, around 60% or 50% of all trading volume has gone towards the short selling side. Now let's move on towards technical analysis. Now from a technical analysis perspective, of course with the massive drop, some of these might look a little bit bearish, but nonetheless, they affect the indicators and we need to understand how, as these might be a bit of momentum and tug of wars. So first off, on the moving averages. Currently, all these moving averages are key indicators towards how the price action is relative to the historical price action. Currently, the 10 SMA, the green line, is above the 30 EMA. That is very bullish. And there's a trading action zone where most positive reversals occur between the two, between 94 cents and 72 cents. The stock is also above all moving averages, making it as well bullish. Currently on the ADX, it's 40.43, indicating that this one is actually on fact into a very strong trend that is unlikely to change. And it could be that kind of push where it dropped it down as a pullback in general. Now, the William %R, which is very similar to the relative strength index, left the overbought zone and is currently in the neutral zone. Also, on the MACD, it still shows very strong strength and a strong push in general, and momentum is very strong as well. Now, in terms of stochastic fast and stochastic slow, so the slow one is indicating that there might be another leg up for this one. The stochastic fast, though, is pinpointing downwards, suggesting otherwise. And in terms of the moving averages in general, what we get to see here is that volumes have dropped just a bit from previously, not the lowest, but around the third or fourth lowest since this move itself. And the Bollinger Bands is expecting this one to trade between the 140 and the 0 cents, but currently the only good thing that you need to understand of this is that it's continuously going exponential upwards, and that's a good sign. Now, in terms of Fibonacci retracements, and the only reason I'm trying to highlight this one is because Fibonacci retracements is used by institutional traders and as well in traders in general. And currently, the resistance is at 140 and 166 on this Fibonacci tool. On the supports, 120, 105, 91 cents and 73 cents, followed by 45 cents. On the price line action, significant resistance is seen at 139. Above there, 147, going upwards closer to 152, and then upwards to 157, and 162, and 166. The support parts, though, is around 137, going downwards to 133, going downwards to 129, and then downwards to 124, and then downwards to 113, downwards then to 104, and then around 94 cents, going down to 90 cents, and then a little bit down to around 85 cents, 80 cents, a critical one that should not be broken around 73 cents, followed by 67 cents and 60 cents, and then 51 cents. Comes to the question to Ed, what do you think is going to happen here? Now, I see a lot of influencers on retail in general and a lot of social media kind of influence and push into this one. And what I do anticipate is that this one, as it broke the $1, that was a good push. It went from 40 cents to 166. And I did say last time, it might be time to sell a little bit today in the early market. And that was good advice. But currently, what we're actually looking at, is it going to bounce back? Well, it really depends on how retail continues on to look into these financial gurus, quote unquote, and trying to see whether their influence is still sharp after this massive increase from around 45 cents all the way to 166. That's almost 300% in this sense. So 300%, do they still have more influence and fuel? Well, if history has told me at some point there is a massive pullback, and if there's no news to back it up, it becomes in a pump and dump. But if there is some news, then it fuels back upwards. So this is high risk, and honestly, at this point, if you bought in the lower levels, you might want to sell a little. There could be some push forwards, but it's a bit too risky at this level. It might last a day or two, but hopefully we can see these indicators continue on to look bullish, as you get to see on the moving averages, and momentums are still looking bullish. So there's still hope with this one. Just be very careful, as the market can be tricky in any given day, whether it's manipulation or institutional actions. So without further ado, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think about it in the description below. Subscribe, like, and have a wonderful day. Now, if you're still here on this video, make sure to drop down below and join our Discord. We have a lot of different things going on, including, for instance, members that gives picks for free. It's not pump and dumps, we just things we think about, swings, etc. We also have really exciting bots. You can actually use those ones. For instance, we're just testing out this bot, for instance, that gives you Fibonacci resistance points, activities, etc. And we have a bunch of free things, totally free. We run on tips here, and you can ask me questions, suggest stocks, etc. It's a really nice community that has been growing up very fast at a very good rate, and it's totally free. If you would like to join that one, feel free to do so in the description below, and have a wonderful day.